So guys, in this video we are going to see how to render the HTML from our Express and the Node.js application. Okay, so generally when we want to develop any Express, most of the time we used to prefer REST API, but in some scenarios we may need to load our HTML also from our Express.js applications. Instead of relying on any Angular or React applications, we may go for this. Rendering the HTML from the Express itself. Okay, so let's see how we can able to do it. And once we done the basic things, we will see how to use some template engine also in order to render our HTML. Okay, so as usual, the first step is we have to create a Node.js application by giving the command called npminute. So this will ask you some list of questions. If you give all the answers, then the project will be created with the folder which the project and then package.json. Okay, then I am installing one more library called npm install express. So this is the library which helps us to create a REST API in the project. Okay, so this npm install express I have installed. Npm init also I have done already. So now what I am going to do, I have created one file called main2.js. So it's all your wish, whatever the file that you want you can able to create it. I am just creating one file called main2.js, and here I have just imported the express, and then I create an object for the express. Then I imported this path also. Okay, as of now it is not needed, maybe let me comment it. Okay, so now I have created one URL called sample localhost 8080/sample, then it will render the file. Okay, the send file is the function which helps us to load our HTML file as the response to the browser. Here we are just adding the two different paths. So one is the absolute path. By giving this one, we will get the absolute path of this project. Then inside the project we have the folder called views. Inside that folder we have one file called sample.html. Okay, so this line will load the HTML based on this response. Okay, so let me run this application. So node, and the file would be main2.js. This will run the application. As you can see, 80/sample. Okay, so now you could see this path is undefined. Okay, so now I am using this path, right? This is the default function which is coming from another library. So it is must that I should import it from the only different path. And for this path you don't need to install anything, because as it is available in the node itself. So require path is enough. Then what I am doing is like I'm just okay, now let me run this application. Okay, as instead of node I will use nodemon, because whenever I'm just having any changes, it will automatically restart my application. Okay, now as you can see here, I can able to get the output as the simple HTML in the browser actually. Okay, so here one more scenario, how this file is getting rendered. I mentioned this, it has to find the folder called views, and then inside that it has to find the file called sample.html. If I go to the folder called views, and it has the file called sample.html, and inside that you could find the simple HTML. Okay, so this HTML will be loaded here actually. Okay, so this HTML will loaded here, which helps us to show this one. Okay, in the browser you can see the same output. Okay, so here I will do one thing. I am creating a one more tag here. So h2. So let me save the file and go to this one, and here you can see I can get the same output here actually. Okay, if you want to update the title, so I have mentioned the document right here. I will mention like sample title. Okay, if I mention like this, then you could see the output of like this actually. Okay, you can see the title of this document. Okay, so this is how we can able to render the HTML using the by using one simple endpoint. If you if you want to create a multiple endpoints like sample1 sample2 kind of thing, then we can keep it like this, and we can mention another file also. For example, I am going to create a one more file. Okay, so which is nothing but a simple login. So what this login will do, one second. So this login will render the file called login.html, and I am going to add a one more login.html. Maybe I will copy paste with the different name. Here I will mention login. Okay, so this login, what it will do, as usual we know the page name would be I can mention login, and here I am going to, that's it. Okay, so let me save the file and go to this place, and yes, let me refresh it. Okay, but here I need to check, yeah, okay, everything is fine. So let me give the login here. Okay, as you can see here, I can get the login page also. Okay, so this is how we can able to render the HTML using our Express. But still, I didn't implement any CSS or JavaScript. This is like a core part is about loading the HTML using our Express.js actually here. Okay, but now the next thing. So which means now I want to load some data into our HTML. Which means from this controller I want to pass some data. Okay, so there the concept called the view template engine will come. I think most of the people might know template engine. If you are working in, if you have a chance to work in PHP or any Java backend projects, you might know template engine is nothing but you want to pass some data from the controller to the HTML. Okay, for example, I have one variable called name. Okay, so let name equal to some value. Okay, so this variable that you want to pass it to the HTML file, and I want to print it in the HTML. Okay, so the variable which I declared is in the coding, okay, which means in the API file, but I want to pass it to the HTML. How it can be possible? We cannot directly do it. So for this thing, our our Express has one idea called template engine. So for this template engine, we have to install one library, and using that library we can able to render the data into the HTML. Okay, so let's see what is the template engine. So in Express we have a lot of template engine like Pug and other things, but as of now we are going to see one template engine called Handlebars. Okay, so this is like a open source template engine, as you can see here. Template engine Pug, but it is slightly a little difficult to understand, difficult to implement also. We can implement it, but if you see here entirely the tags and all we have to change entirely. So instead of this one, there is a one common template engine called Handlebar, which is very easy to use and easy to learn also. It will not take that much time to implement. It will be very easy, as you can see here. Let me show you. So this Handlebar, yes, this is the template engine documentation. If we go to the first installation, so first of all we need to install this Handlebars. So npm install Handlebars into your node project we have to install. Let me check. I think I have installed already. Yeah, I have installed this Handlebar already in my application. Okay, so now for configuration, first of all we need to install, we need to add this engine to our application. So which means this concept, importing this handlebar, then extracting the engine here as it is object restructuring, and then we are just setting this engine object to handlebar. This is the common function here. Next one is about which view engine. This is for express constant, common constant, that which type of view engine we are using. In case if you are using some other engine, then we need to mention the name here. Okay, that you need to refer the documentation. As per this handlebar documentation, the view engine is handlebars only. Okay, now we need to mention the views directory. Views directory is nothing but where we are keeping our HTML file. Okay, so I am just keeping this views file in this directory. This is the directory name, this is a constant name. Okay, so it is this folder structure that I am having here. If you see here, I am having a views directory. Inside the views directory I have a one layout file and also one handlebar file. Okay, one more thing, our handlebar file should always ends with .handlebar. We should not use any HTML. If you are using HTML, handlebar couldn't able to identify, so it is always must that it should ends with .handlebars, and we should have a layout. Inside the layout, it is must that we should have one file called main.handlebar. Okay, so this is the default file which is rendered by the handlebar. So it should be the same name. In case if you change the name, it will not work. So layouts, inside the layout we should have a main.handlebar. Okay, so inside the main.handlebar, as you can see here, we can have the common structure. So between the body I need to mention with the 3 brackets, I think it should be 3 brackets only. Yes, with the 3 brackets it should be the body. Why it has to be like this means, as per the documentation, they are expecting this pre-structure in this framework. Okay, so this is a main handlebar. This name also should be like this only because this is a pre-render file which is created by the handlebar itself. So we have to be, it has to be like this only. So in the line number 9 we have the body, right? Inside the body only our entire content will be loaded. For example, if you see in the line number 13, I mentioned the file name called sample. So the sample is inside the directory called views. So this is a file. Okay, so now whatever I am having keeping in this the particular file will be loaded in the which is called the main.handlebars. Okay, in the line number 9 it will be replaced. Okay, this is the base concept of this handlebar. Okay, so now what I am going to do, I will remove everything. I am just keeping a simple h1 here. I will mention this is from handlebar. Okay, so this is the text that I am keeping here. Now let me save it and as it is running already, as you can see here, I'm just rest.render. This is the file name and this is the extra data that I am passing now. As of now I didn't use it, but I'm just keeping it here. Okay, so now let me open the browser and try to open hit the endpoint localhost. It is 8080 I think so, slash sample. So if I go this one, yes, as you can see here, it is working fine. This is from Handlebar. So how it is working means, I kept this only that this text is working here. Now you may have doubt like how this title is getting rendered. This is already mentioned. This is the main handlebar. Okay, so in this place our handlebar is getting rendered actually. Okay, fine. So if you want to have some other file, maybe I'm having a some other file. In this file I will mention h1. This is another file. Okay, this is the text I am keeping. Now for the another endpoint I am going to mention, which is sample2. Maybe I will copy paste this one, which is sample2. Okay, that's it. I don't want to share any data, so let me remove everything. Let me save it and go to the browser. Give me sample2. Okay, super. Because that is the issue, I didn't save the file properly. Sorry, I didn't edit the file properly. So yes, okay. So as you can see here, it is properly working. If I give sample1, it gives me some other response. Sorry, it's a sample. If I give sample, this will give some other response. If I give sample2, it gives me different response actually. Okay, so now our configuration for the handlebar, which is working fine. Now the next step is I want to share the data. Okay, so as you can see here, I am just having a 13th line. I am just passing the country, which is India, user data, which is some constant value I am passing. Okay, now I want to display the value in the handlebar. So the handlebar file is sample. So let me go to the sample here. Let me split the window. And this also I will make it now. Okay, so now here I want to display this country here. Okay, so how can I mention this one is I can mention h1. Inside the h1 I will have a two curly braces. Here I will mention country. That's it. So no need to have any other configuration. So when you mention this one, if you go to this one, if you see here, sorry, I need to go to the previous file. Yeah, so as you can see here, the India is coming here. So how it is coming? Because we pass the value and we are printing the value. Both should be properly synchronized. In case if I have different name, I'm just purposefully changing it. If I refresh it, it will not display. Neither it will not throw any error also. Okay, so yes, so whatever the name that you are trying to print it in the HTML, it is must that it should be coming from this controller properly. Okay, that's it. Okay, this is how we can able to show the value from our controller to the service. Sorry, controller to the HTML. Okay, now I want to have a some if condition. Okay, which means based on the data I want to have a if condition. Yes, it is also possible. If you look at this documentation, they clearly mention they have a lot of different scenarios. So what is this? One second. Yeah. Yeah guys, as you can see here, if this variable is available, it will load this, then else also can, else you can see else also. If it is available, it will load this one, otherwise it loads this one actually here. Okay, so the same scenario if you want to handle, we can handle also. For example, I will mention capital. Okay, so next data that I want to print is capital actually. Okay, so capital. Okay, but as of now we don't have the data, so we can have a condition here, so which is I can mention if capital, it will print this one, else I will mention no capital. Okay, so as usual here we need to ends with, because we opened the if, right? So we need to mention if, which is the end one actually. So let me save it and go to the browser and check. I think now it will say no capital, because we don't have any variable called capital, so it gives me capital. Okay, in case if I send me the capital, if I mention the capital, okay, capital. Okay, so here I will mention DELHI. So fine, now go to the browser. As you can see, now it displays the Delhi, because now the capital variable is available, so it is displaying the value capital actually here. Okay, so now this no capital will not be displayed because we are passing the capital properly. Okay, fine. So this is how we have to show the just variable to our HTML. But what if you want to show the array of data? For example, I have a data, so variable data equal to, I have an array So test1, test2. Okay, if I have this type of variables, and as usual I want to pass it. So here instead of this user data, I will pass this data which is in the variable of user data. So now I want to display the value. Okay, let me remove the extra comma here. Okay, so let me this one. Okay, so here I want to display this is not just a variable, correct? As you can see here, this is just an object. So if you want to print this value, we cannot use it proper one. So here we have to use proper function which is called each. Okay, in the each with a give a space and give the your key. So the key is user data. So this one I need to provide it here in order to display this value. So here I need to close with each, because as it is ends the statement, make sure that you are using a double curly brace. Okay, in between whatever the data that you want to iterate, that can be available. So here this one here, as it is array, it is not an object, right? So when you want to get this value, this is not in object, actually this is in a direct value. So if you want to access the direct value, we can use this keyword. Okay, so this keyword will help us to this one. Maybe I will save it and go to the browser. I think if I refresh it, yes, you can see this value one by one. Okay, so which means this is array of value which is showing here. In case if you want to have a li, I think I can use it li here. Make sure this ends in the after this text. Okay, so the li is also working fine, actually. That's it. Okay, so this is how we can able to access the data. So in case if you want to access array of objects, okay, so I will mention once again, I want to display the array of objects actually here. So I have some data. So let me paste it here. Okay, so this data that I want to pass it here. Okay, it should be object, right? Okay, so this data also I want to pass, but maybe I will mention. Okay, I will comment it down. I will keep this one. Okay, so the user data, this one, but here I should not use this, because if I use this, you will have only object. Yeah, only object. The reason why you are getting object means this, because this is not the direct value, this is inside the object. So how we can able to display the value? So here we can mention directly the object name, which is called the name. So if you save it, you can see the value, which is the test1, test2. So how it is coming? Because this name, the name is test, name is test1, name is test2 is coming here. Okay, so if you see this structure properly, I have a title which is available only for the 0th index. For first and second index it will not have anything. Only for the 0th index it has the title. So what I can do here, I will mention open curly brace, close curly brace. Here I will mention the title. So whatever the element has this title will display the value, otherwise it will become empty actually. So now go to this one. As you can see here, the title is coming. So maybe I will mention okay, this one I will do like this, guys. So title. Okay, so here I will mention, remove this one. In the title I will mention Mr. Space. Okay, yes, how come? Oh, I didn't save the file. Okay, yes, as you can see here, only this file will have this one, others does not have anything actually here. Okay, so yes, so this is how we can able to easily, it will not throw any error actually here. If that object available, it just displays it, otherwise it just ignores and goes for the next data. Okay, so now the next the main scenario, which means how we can able to access the database data from our how to access, how to display the data in from the database into this HTML file. Okay, so for this configuration already I have done the service integration, which means I am using a SQL framework in order to get the data. So if you want to know how to connect the SQL and all these things, I put the link in the description, so you can able to refer it. So as of now, I'm going to use the service directly. If you see the line number 11, I have created object user service which has this code to get the data. If you see this is user service, get all data. Yeah, so this is the method which helps us to get all the data from the database. Okay, so I have a database which is workbench. 1 second. This is a local database I'm having here, and I have the users database. If you select the rows, so these are all the rows available in my database. Okay, now I want to display all the data in my browser, which means in the HTML of this one. So here how can I able to do this one is, first of all I need to create a one okay, I think it's everything is there, only I need to mention this one. Okay, shall I comment this one, and I will create one more data here. I will mention let data equal to this one. Super. Okay, so I'm using the same variable and passing the data in the user data and get all data. Okay, so I think it is already there. I don't think so my table has this column called the title. So let me check the table. Yes, the table has name, email, password and all the things, ID. Okay, so let me display ID and name and email. So I will mention ID. I don't think so it will throw the error because I will tell you the reason. Because the SQL is database, the framework, right? It will show the value in the data values. So this one email. Oh, okay, I need to remove one curly brace. Okay, let me save it and go to the browser. Let me run it. Okay, I didn't save the file. Super. So yes, it will not display the value as it expects in the different format. Okay, yeah. Oh, okay, I didn't save the file. Shit, man. Okay, as you can see here, it displays all the data but not in the proper format. The iteration is happening fine, but it is not showing the value. I think it gives me some other different one. I don't know what is this yes representation. Okay, so here what I need to do, I need to mention data values. Okay, so what is this data values? Means this is the object which is coming from the yes, it is working fine. This is the object which is coming from the SQLize. So whenever you want to access the data, it is from data values dot name. This is not a handlebar issue. This is the issue. This is the proper structure of the SQLize framework. Yeah. Now as you can see here, whatever the data that available in my database, you can able to see it. So the last data in the database is SQLize. Okay. If you go to the database data, I have the last data is SQLize and this thing. Okay. If you see, it is properly printing in here. Okay, fine guys. So this is how we can able to access the data from using SQLize and printing it in the HTML using the this one. So if you have here, if I refresh this one, yes, you can see proper email. And if you see here, some of the data, if you see this one is not at all having any email actually here. So if you want to have some condition, oh, because of this thing only the S is coming. Oh my god, I didn't notice this. Okay, so let me refresh it. Okay, so if you see here, these guys are not having any email. Okay, so now you want to show some error here, like these guys are not having anything. So here I don't think so whether it will work or not. Let's see. Inside the li I am writing on condition, like if email is not available, I want to show some what I can show, no email. Okay, so I will have a as usual calibrates statement start with if condition. Okay, if I will mention data values dot email. Okay, so if email is exist, it will display this value. If else, I will mention, okay, sorry, else. Yeah, yeah, okay, yes, okay, fine. As you can see here, whoever the user is not having the email, you can easily see the email is not found, and whoever is having the email, they will print it in the mail actually here. Okay, it's very simple. So like this, based on the different scenarios, if you want to use the handlebar, it will be very easy. As you can see here, it will not take that much time to learn also. If you have any doubts or anything, just put it in the comment and I will help you. And thank you.